It started with a single word. "Mom, does this look weird to you?" Tina glanced up from her laptop, half listening, half distracted by work. Her daughter Emily, 13 and bubbly, stood by the kitchen counter holding her thick brown ponytail to one side, revealing a tiny red bump on her neck. Tina leaned in briefly, gave it a glance, and said the most motherly thing possible, "It's probably just a pimple, sweetheart. You're at that age." She said it with the certainty of a mother who had seen hundreds of scrapes, colds, and chicken pox. Emily nodded and didn't push. She was used to her mom being busy, always balancing freelance writing deadlines and single parenting since her husband, Scott, passed away 2 years earlier. Tina was doing her best to keep everything from falling apart. But in hindsight, Tina would never forgive herself for brushing it off. 2 weeks later, the pimple had grown. What started as a small bump was now the size of a grape. It had changed color slightly. Reddish purple, and when Emily turned her neck, she winced in pain. "Mom," she said again, this time with urgency in her voice, "it really hurts." Tina paused. For the first time, she really looked. The bump was too large. Not inflamed like a normal zit. Something about it felt wrong. She felt a ripple of fear pass through her. "We're going to the doctor tomorrow," Tina said, heart racing. The pediatrician frowned as he examined it. Then he sent them for imaging. That led to a referral. More scans. More silence in the waiting rooms, more tight-lipped smiles from specialists. Then came the moment that would freeze Tina's world. "It's a tumor," the doctor said gently. "We believe it's Hodgkin's lymphoma." The words fell into the air like stones. Emily didn't fully understand at first. Tina did. Her legs trembled beneath her as she sat beside her daughter. She held Emily's hand and squeezed it so hard she nearly bruised her own palm. "But it was just a pimple," Emily whispered. Tina's eyes filled with tears. "I should have brought you in sooner," she said, voice cracking. Treatment started quickly. Chemo. Radiation. Hospital visits. Emily lost her hair within weeks, her laughter a little less frequent. Her bubbly spirit dulled as nausea and fatigue became part of her daily life. Tina had to quit her freelance contracts to care for Emily full-time. Bills began to pile up. She maxed out credit cards, sold the TV, and even pawned her wedding ring. Pride was a luxury she could no longer afford. But the hardest part wasn't the money. It was watching her daughter, once full of energy and joy, lie in bed pale and trembling, barely able to hold down water. "I'm so sorry, baby," Tina whispered one night, brushing a cool cloth across Emily's forehead. "If I had taken it seriously earlier." Emily opened her eyes. "It's not your fault, Mom. I just want you here. That's all I need." Tina broke down sobbing. But even in the darkness, hope flickered. During a hospital fundraiser, a nurse submitted Emily's story anonymously to a local news station. The story of the little girl whose pimple turned out to be cancer. It aired one rainy Tuesday evening. The community responded. People Tina had never met brought meals, gift cards, and warm blankets. A local mechanic fixed her car for free. Neighbors she barely spoke to took turns babysitting during long hospital stays. One woman donated $5,000 to help cover treatment. Tina cried when she read the note attached, "I'm a mom too. You're not alone." It was kindness that kept them going. After 6 grueling months of treatment, the tumor shrank. The doctors smiled more during checkups. Blood work started looking better. Scans came back clean. Then came the day the oncologist sat them down and said the word Tina had been praying for, remission. Tina gasped. Emily cried. It wasn't over, not completely, but it was the first real breath they had taken in months. That night, back at home, Tina stood in the bathroom staring into the mirror. She had gained a few new wrinkles. Her hair was messier. But something in her eyes had changed, she was stronger. She walked into Emily's room. Her daughter, now wearing a soft cap over her head, was drawing in a notebook. What are you making? Tina asked. A tattoo design, Emily said with a little grin. For later. I want it right here, she pointed to her neck. To remind me I'm a fighter. Tina laughed through her tears and hugged her. A year later, Emily gave a speech at her middle school. She stood at the podium, a little shaky but smiling. I had cancer, she said to the hushed room. It started with what looked like a pimple. But it turned out to be something big. Something scary. I watched my mom cry and fight and never give up. I learned that even when you're scared, you can still be brave. Even when you fall, you can still stand again. In the audience, Tina clutched a tissue. She had worried, feared, regretted, but she had also loved, hoped, and fought. And in that moment, all of it mattered. The truth that left her in shock wasn't just the diagnosis, it was how strong her daughter turned out to be. And how powerful love can be when everything else falls apart. This story is a reminder. Never ignore a child's voice. Never dismiss a tiny change. And never underestimate the strength of a mother's love or a daughter's will to survive.